breaking down the headlines with speed and precision. Welcome to Neural Newscast, where AI meets responsible reporting.
Thanks for joining us for this Neural Newscast deep dive. I'm Olivia, your astronomy correspondent. With me is Andrew, our host and reporter, and we're about to uncover some intriguing stories. On this day in 1514, the Spanish crown granted explorer Juan Ponce de León a contract to settle the islands of Bimini and Florida, authorizing colonization efforts in the New World.
In one stroke, the crown put its weight behind settlement, naming Ponce de León, granting authority, and targeting Bimini and Florida specifically.
From an exploration standpoint, that's unusually precise. Not go discover, but go establish a royal grant to colonize those places.
And politically, that's pivotal. A contract like this is formal imperial intent. Clear permission to project power and claim space in the New World.
Exactly. It's the step from a voyage of curiosity to a state-backed plan, turning private exploration into an official enterprise.
Tying the crown's authority to a single commander also concentrates accountability. Ponce's leadership would shape everything on the ground.
And naming both Bimini and Florida widens the canvas. This wasn't a one-island experiment, but a regional ambition.
Which meant serious logistics. Recruiting settlers, provisioning ships, and setting up governance mechanisms under the crown's rules.
Plus, the navigation challenge, threading reefs, currents, and coastlines, demanded local pilots and sustained maritime support.
The wording makes the objective unmistakable. Not a tentative foothold, but authorization to pursue settlement outright.
And that decision had long tails, lasting colonies, contests over control, and a reshaped map of the region.
All emanating from a few lines of royal text in 1514. Simple on parchment, enormous in consequence.
You can almost hear the gears of empire turning as ink dries on that authorization.
It's a reminder that a carefully worded directive can redraw borders and lives with surprising speed.
At its core, this contract is the administrative spark. Ponce de León empowered to initiate settlement in Bimini and Florida.
A decisive move by the Spanish crown, handing Ponce both the task and the authority to plant a lasting presence in the New World.
Stay with us. After the break, birthdays that helped shape history. Today we celebrate the birthdays of Samuel Adams, 1722, Thomas Nast, 1840, and Meat Loaf, 1947.
Samuel Adams stands out to me as the one to dig into. Founding father, political organizer, the man they call the father of the American Revolution. Tell me what makes him so pivotal from your perspective.
Samuel Adams was a master of grassroots organization. He had an uncanny sense of public sentiment, able to channel local outrage into coordinated action, like the Boston Tea Party, which he helped spark. His talent wasn't battlefield command, but civic engineering, pamphlets, committees, neighborhood networks.
Civic engineering, good phrase. So he built political pressure from the ground up rather than relying on elite negotiation. That bottom-up strategy shaped the revolution's momentum?
Exactly. He cultivated local committees of correspondence that knit towns together, turning scattered complaints into a unified colonial response to British policies. That networked activism created a political force that was hard for London to ignore.
And his rhetoric matched the tactics, fiery, urgent, designed to provoke action rather than calm debate, yes?
Right. He understood symbolic acts and public theater. The Boston Tea Party wasn't just property damage, it was a staged statement that crystallized public opposition. Adams used imagery and ritual to make resistance visible and contagious.
The description calls him a fiery patriot and statesman. How did that balance play out as the revolution moved into governance? Was he more agitator than policymaker?
He was both at different times. Early on, his strength was agitation, stirring public will. Later, as an architect of state institutions, he translated those energies into structures for self-government. He carried his activism into statecraft, pushing for principles like liberty and representative accountability to be embedded in new institutions.
That's fascinating. The same strategist who incites a crowd then helps write the rules afterward. Any lesser-known facts about him that illustrate that dual role?
One detail worth noting is how he leveraged local customs and existing social networks to disseminate ideas. He didn't invent channels so much as repurpose familiar civic rituals for political ends. It made his appeals feel native and legitimate, not foreign impositions.
So his genius was partly tactical, using what people already trusted to deliver new, radical messages. That explains his enduring reputation as a grassroots organizer.
Yes, and that reputation is why historians still call him the father of the American Revolution. Not because he acted alone, but because his methods helped fuse disparate colonial grievances into a coherent revolutionary movement.
Considering his legacy, what about his example matters to us now, in the contemporary struggles for freedom we see today?
His legacy shows how organization, symbolism, and persistent local engagement transform private discontent into public change. It's a template for modern civic movements that seek systemic reform without waiting for elites to lead.
Right. The idea that sustained grassroots pressure, when channeled with clarity and ritual, can reshape political realities. That's a lesson that resonates beyond the 18th century.
It does. Samuel Adams's life reminds us that political institutions are made and remade by people willing to organize, to dramatize grievances, and then to build new frameworks for governance, an arc from protest to policy.
A fitting reflection for a birthday remembrance, honoring not just a figure, but a continuing model of civic action and institutional change.
More deep dive ahead. After the bumper, a striking science fact about the human heart.
This is Chad Thompson. I created Neural Newscast to make it easier to keep up with the world without the noise. If you're finding it helpful, head to neuralnewscast.com to explore all our shows, recaps, and reports.
Thanks for staying with us on Neural Newscast Deep Dive. Let's get back to our discussion. The human heart creates enough pressure to squirt blood 30 feet.
30 feet. Those numbers hit you immediately. That one line reframes how powerful a single organ can be.
Exactly. It's a compact, startling measure of physiological force, and the imagery makes the science visceral without a lecture.
It also explains why chest injuries can be so dramatic. That pressure isn't abstract. I can literally propel blood a long distance.
And as an astronomy specialist, I can't help admiring the efficiency. A small muscular pump generating that level of pressure.
There's an almost cinematic quality to it, which is why it sticks. Concise, precise, bluntly informative.
It makes you respect biomechanics the way we respect natural forces elsewhere. Compact, concentrated power at work.
Short, sharp, and impossible to ignore. 30 feet. Plain and simple. That's all for this Neural Newscast Deep Dive. On behalf of Olivia and me, I'm Andrew. Thanks for listening.
That's it for today's episode of Neural Newscast, where AI meets accountability. Catch up on past episodes at neuralnewscast.com. And don't forget to follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast app. Neural Newscast merges real and AI-generated voices to ensure rapid, high-quality news production. Our content is created using advanced AI models and rigorously reviewed by humans for accuracy and fairness. Despite efforts to prevent AI errors, occasional inaccuracies may occur. We encourage listeners to cross-check critical details with trusted sources. Read about our AI transparency at nnewscast.com.